Welcome back, everyone. Two things. Green wave is initiated. Broke out. I did have a little bit of pullback on the S&P this morning, but we're getting ready to go back green. Had that huge rip on Wednesday on the Fed Powell announcement. Back over 400. That's that key kind of psychological level on the S&P 500. I told you it was coming. Now listen, I've talked about the green wave. Yes, it's kind of a play on the election, red wave, blue wave. I was saying, there was so much pent up demand. Like if you were trading into the election, volume was lower, just a lot of fear. Plays were moving slower. Just everything was kind of sluggish. Just a lot of trepidation, a lot of concern. People were worried about, what the election would bring. I knew, listen, good or bad, we work on the world has a ridiculously short attention span. So it's like 2 days later, right here, the big rip was November 10th, which would have been 6 days later. Look at that huge explosion to the upside. Then we got follow through again this week. So short attention span, everybody's happy again. Everybody's buying stocks again. So one thing I do want to mention before we get started, I'm going to talk about the number one sector going into the fall. There is a link below that I would like you to check out. We actually started doing 3 times a day live webinars, free live webinars, breaking down, actually 4 times a day. I misspoke. 4 times a day, breaking down the best plays of the day. We use Oracle a ton in these tools. We use the scans. We break everything down. So that link will be below, and it's StocksToTrade Live is what it's called. 8 a.m. every day, 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 9 p.m. And we even do weekends. And actually, Sunday is on here. We're even doing Saturday now. So 100% free. Go to that link. I do it. Matt Monaco does it. Rob Booker does them. We kind of mix them all up. So it's great. You get a different approach to everything. 100% free. Again, 4 times a day and Saturday and Sunday. So check it out. It's awesome stuff. All right. So what is that number one theme we're looking at? We're finally over the true penny stocks. Okay. If you watched the video I did a week or so ago, I begrudgingly anointed true penny stocks as the hot sector. And when I say that, and you can go back and watch that video or probably link it below. Listen, I'm not bashing them, but the one thing you got to learn, most of you, I'm guessing, are brand new to this. There are certain, and this might sound funny, but there's certain niches and sectors and instruments, like I know traders that just only trade ETFs, like the 3X leverage ETFs. I don't like those either. Like my sweet spot is what we're going to talk about here in a minute. Well, my 2 sweet spots. I love like real technology stocks, the Teslas, the Apples, the Googles, those higher priced. And then I love those. Oh, I almost gave it away what my favorite one is. Most of you probably know. But anyway, short selling. I was a short bias trader for 9 years and then recognized a niche or a shift in the market. So listen, just because I'm not a fan of true penny stocks, I don't like trading for 5 cents a share. The math just messes with me. It was an incredible run, 3 weeks, every day. We had 4 or 5, 10-cent stocks, 20-cent stocks. We got one right now today. COSM is running again. So, but I'm glad we're back to low float runners. Okay. That's spoiler alert. So I love those $2 to $10 micro float stocks, like top. Well, actually the first one, the one that started it all. And this is where I kind of sensed a shift in the force. Okay. A shift in the force was a week, 10 days ago, ish. Yeah. 10 days ago would have been the 22nd. Look up PALI on the 22nd. Again, $2 to $10 stock. Okay. Started trading today at $2, broke $3 and went to 6 plus in the matter of minutes, 1.5 million float. Okay. That's my sweet spot. Now, why is that? Why is that? The great thing about the $2 to $10 price range is people love to short them. Okay. And they're hard to borrow. So what happens is people pile in very early in the morning. And this is kind of the mechanics of the short squeeze. So what happens when you have a very hard to borrow stock, understand if I talk about anything that's like confusing or too advanced, like if I'm talking about floats and squeezes and, all the margin calls and leverage and all this stuff, again, check out those webinars below. They're 100% free. get in way more detail. I mean, this is a 10-minute video. I try and give you as much as possible. But when you're talking about hard to borrow stocks like a PALI, people impulsively pile into them short in the morning because they know there's a very high probability that there will be no shares to borrow later. Okay. Again, it may sound very confusing. I do a ton of videos. Check out the webinars. Stick with me, even if you don't know what I mean. But there's a limited supply of borrows out there. And when they're all gone, that reduces the available trading shares, and that's what creates the squeeze. And especially when people load up in the morning, they're shorting at basically any price they can get in because they have FOMO. They're afraid late in the day, the good time to short these penny stocks. I mean, listen, if you're going to short penny, this is one thing I don't get. Other than the hard to borrow situation, if you're going to short stocks, short VWAP fails in the afternoon, okay? My ebook, I go over the top 5 short patterns. People just want to pile in early because they get filled with FOMO. I mean, it's no different on the long side. That's why people use market orders and everything. But anyway, that creates that epic squeeze. And that's why PALI goes from 2 to 6 in a day. Still hanging around today. The best example, again, is this week is TOPS. Beautiful follow through. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, would have been Wednesday morning, 2 to 470. Come back yesterday, goes from 350 to 6. This morning goes from 360 to 634. Look at these rips. And this is actually, let me go to my whiteboard. So we actually went over this today. Okay. And this is what's great about the low floaters is they're so predictable. They're like, now there isn't one every day. Okay. Some days there is none. Sometimes you go a couple days without one. But when you get this recipe, they're so predictable. So notice 1 and 2. Okay. 1 and 2 is going from Wednesday to Thursday. Okay. I sent out an alert on TOPS yesterday morning at 9:15 a.m. to buy it at $3.16 or $4.16. $4.16. It went to 580. Why was that the entry level? It was just the break, the squeeze point from the previous day. So that's 1 and 2. And then look at this morning. I did this screenshot this morning talking about the play, and it's the exact same thing. Notice how 1 and 2 are exactly like 3 and 4. And as I went over that live, it was in pre-market. The stock was at 477. Notice the line is 489. Watch what happens when Tops breaks 489. And remember, that was screenshot live real time. Okay, it breaks 489, goes to 634. I mean, literally the exact same move. Let me go to a 5-day chart. There's 1, there's 2, 1, 2, epic squeeze. Okay, there's 3, there's 4, epic squeeze. So that's what's great about these stocks. They just repeat and they repeat and they repeat. And there's so many of them right now. RMED, guys. RMED was a late day dip and rip yesterday. Okay, this spikes up in pre to 338. Okay. Now, most of you probably, the dip and rip is typically a morning pattern. But if I go to my notes, we can go to the notes yesterday, would have been the 1st. I'm like, RMAD, number 1 dip and rip, 8:30 a.m., 8:24 a.m., RMAD, ScamX low floater with a PR, probably going to be the chat pump du jour. So we were looking at those afternoon levels, and then look at right here, 9:38 a.m. So look at this. If RMAD breaks the high of the day, it instantly goes to 4+. This is yesterday morning. RMED broke the high of day at 4:30 in the afternoon in after hours, but look at goes to 512. So I'm telling you, check out the webinars. We go over these low floaters every day. These can really change your account. Okay. Listen, going back to my bash of true penny stocks, you can chip away. You make 10%, 20% here and there. It's a good way to pad your account. It's a good way to get the reps in, as we say. But these things change your life. I mean, you get 1,000 shares of one of these stocks and it spikes $1, $2, $3 a share. That can really change your account. All right, everyone, 100% free on those webinars. It's called StocksToTrade Live. We'll link it below. And again, the great thing is live 4 times a day, even as late as 9 p.m. Matt Monaco does the 9 p.m. most nights. So even if you're Pacific time, or maybe you get home from work late, 9 p.m., 3 p.m., 11 a.m., 8 a.m., and again on weekends too. Maybe you work 12-hour days Monday through Friday. check us out on Saturday and Sunday as well.